If you would have told me a few years ago, upon watching Attack on Titan and reading the manga, and you told me that there might be time travel, I would have called you a liar. But now, with this latest episode of Attack on Titan, that's exactly what has happened. Many are under the impression that there could potentially be time travel, which, let's just take a moment to think about this. Just how far Attack on Titan has gone. Like, when the story started off, it started off with a boy that lost everything. Humanity was pushed to the brink of extinction from what we are aware of. And, Titans were attacking and all that. The iconic Colossal Titan scene. Just, all the little individual scenes at the start of the series. And we saw how everybody just lost so much. And Eren lost his family, lost his mother. And once all that happened, it kind of turned it into where Eren wanted to eradicate the Titans. Wipe them all out for humanity can regain what it's lost. Or humanity can, go out there and expand upon the world instead of fear of being devoured by Titans. It's kind of interesting how much this series has evolved since the very beginning. Like, people that have started the series through manga or anime, I think they're probably just in an absolute state of shock with just these recent episodes of the story. Just something that I think nobody really saw coming. I think even those that have like some really out there outlandish theories probably never thought something like what has happened in these past few episodes was really ever possible. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, because it goes to show that the writer of Attack on Titan really knows how to mix things up a bit. And it's not like he ever broke any rules that he established within his series to begin with, which that's what I want to get into. If there's something that all writers need to follow, it's that when they write their series, be whatever it is, they need to establish rules. There has to be rules within a said story. Like maybe, let's look at Dragon Ball for example, okay? Dragon Ball Z, we know for a fact that at the end of the day, people can be saved with the Dragon Balls. And we know the Dragon Ball's limitations. That's something that has been stated since the very beginning. And obviously, Akira Toriyama, he can't actually break those rules unless he wants to kind of ruin his writing. What I'm trying to say is when a writer establishes something, they have to follow by them, unless the quality of the writing is going to go down. And in this case, Attack on Titan has had some rules established. It's been that Titans always go after humans. They don't really go after each other unless it's a Titan shifter. And, we know that there's some abnormal Titans that just act very different. But overall, we know that there has been rules in place since the very beginning. However, when you think about what has happened these past few episodes, nothing has necessarily been broken with what the writer has stated or set forth since the very beginning. Like, everything that's being revealed these past 3 episodes actually makes sense and has been in our face since the very beginning, through little things here and there, to just Eren's, overall dream or nightmare he had at the beginning of the series, to just the stuff how Grisha was just very, very secretive, to his outfit actually referencing his deceased sister. Just, there's a lot of things that has been set up for a very long time that's been on our face that has led to this very conclusion we got for these past 3 episodes. But it doesn't just stop there. When we think about Attack on Titan, and like I said, the rules that series had to follow, Attack on Titan has never said that advanced science or magic couldn't be a thing a part of this series, because it's never really stated that. And let me explain. When you think about it, Titans in general are obviously supernatural. It's not something that is what would happen in real life. So we know that the series has gone into either a supernatural route or a scientific route, and we don't really know, but both sides could actually make perfect sense. And let's look at both. When you look at the scientific route, when the series first started, you could easily believe that at one point in time, humanity was very advanced, and you had it to where they created the Titans for whatever reason, and then it was an experiment that went wrong, which forced all of humanity to become extinct. This is what we could have got at the beginning of the story. We could have assumed, since we knew next to nothing about what the Titans were really from or who they really were. And so that right there, that was how it started, how we could think where the series could go. Or you had, on the other hand, that maybe our characters are never on their original planet to begin with. Maybe they were on a new planet that humans colonized that was overrun by Titans or something, and, they're pretty much on an alien planet. We didn't know if that was a possibility. Or if, all these Titans were just created by some form of ancient magic, which kind of find out that is the case. What I'm trying to get at, though, is that it's amazing just everything that's been building up to this very point for the series. And, time traveling, being a part of it, potentially, is pretty ridiculous. But like I said, it doesn't really go against anything that has been previously established. So, okay, enough of that. Let's get right into it. So, what was that final scene? The scene with the original Eren, not our Eren, but the original Eren, and how he mentioned Mikasa and Armin and all that. What was going on there? See, that's the thing about this. That final scene doesn't really give any clarity to what's happening. There's multiple ways to look at it. You can either view it, like I already mentioned, as time travel, that somehow, because of how all Titans are connected, or Titan shifters are connected to one another, there's this invisible line, is that they're able to actually access memories from people even in the future. They're just all connected. And since this is diving into potential magic, the original Titan, the founding Titan Ymir and all that, it would make sense that something like that could be possible. It doesn't go against anything. But also we could look at it is that Eren was just mixing his memories with other people's memories. Since all of them are kind of linked and Eren's able to access, previous memories from other people, it's likely in that moment when he was remembering the original Eren, or Al that was, giving Grisha the information, that it's likely his memories were just mixing with that dude's, and he didn't really know what was reality, what was present, what was, past. And that's what you can get from it. So, I just like how there's so much mystery still wrapped around the story, even with all these reveals that have been happening, because it goes along with what was done in the last episode. As you remember, we found out the history of the world. We found out from both sides. We found out one side they were, suppressed, they were pushed down in society, and eventually they rebelled. They got 7 Titans out of the 9, and then they kind of got rid of the cursed blood and all that, and forced them to go to an island. But from the people, like our character's side, they were individuals that were really helping out the world, but then you had this greedy faction come in and snatch the Titans away, and then just completely put them in, camps and stuff, to where they're now living their lives as lower class citizens. And so you don't really know who to believe. Obviously, we want to believe the characters that are on Eren's side, but that's the funny thing, is that you can't believe either side, which is what this episode wanted to make sure we could remember. You cannot really trust either side. There's not enough, I guess, unbiased information. Because at the end of the day, who really makes history is those that win. That's really what it comes down to. And so obviously, you have it to where the country or the faction that won, they're able to write any story they want, because, there's nothing else the other faction can really do, because they lost. They're either completely gone, or they lost, and it's just been forgotten by this point. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, that this series is just amazing with all the questions it continues to bring up, and it makes us wonder what has really happened in the past, and is there time travel or not? And if there is time travel, does this mean that there's been a legacy that's been built up since this very beginning for Eren to be able to carry this out? Which, let's get into Grisha's legacy and what he's necessarily done to Eren. So, it's revealed, a shocking reveal, that Titan shifters have a very short lifespan, which, in reality, makes sense. When we think about how the founding Titan has been transferred repeatedly at such a short amount of time, it would make sense now why, Eren or other Titan shifters have a limited amount of time, because it fits in with the tradition of constantly shifting over the power to someone else, with, how the royal family within the walls did. So, because of all these reveals, Eren now only has 7 to 8 years left to live, which in reality isn't that long. It really isn't. 8 years just flies on by. It really does. And Eren figuring out that he doesn't really have long to live is probably frightening. It really is. And we don't really know if there's any way to fix that. and if we will lose our main character. So it's possible within 8 years in the story, Eren will die. So that was definitely something I think that's going to catch many by surprise. Caught me by surprise as well. But it doesn't, like I said, stop there. We gotta look at what, Al did, the informant that told Grisha everything, but also what Grisha did, and, like, his decisions. So, obviously, Grisha, he had to carry the mantle. He had to be able to take over the Titan shifting power and bring it within the walls and eventually gain back the founding Titan to be able to set in motion for they could reclaim what is theirs back on the mainland. Be able to, free their people. And you gotta remember that at the beginning of Grisha's story, he stated that he didn't want to become what his father was. He realized what he did to his boy, Zeke, that eventually became the Beast Titan. He realized that he was doing the exact same thing. He was putting his overall ideals, his motives, and all that onto his child, and forcing his child to pretty much become him. And he realized his error in that moment. And what's sad is that it turns out he pretty much did the exact same thing again. He repeated the same mistake, and probably not willingly, because it stated that he probably, forgot that conversation he had. He probably forgot, information in those final moments and doesn't remember who is who. So it's kind of sad, really, that Grisha ended up making the exact same mistakes he did with Zeke, but with Eren after that. And the reason why he probably called Eren Eren was because of the person that he talked to that gave him his, Titan power. And it's even more so sad, like, when you find out that Eren, he has no choice now. He has to carry on the legacy of his father, or everybody will die. It has been forced into his hands, and there's nothing else he really can do until his time is actually up. So Eren has had a predestined life kind of for a while, thanks to his father and those that came before him. What is crazy about all of this now is that they're running out of time. Our cast of characters, the people within the walls, they only have a limited amount of time until something is eventually done, till they're forced to make a decision. Because as technology continues to grow overseas and all that on the mainland, eventually their technology might be able to surpass the Titans, get stronger than whatever the Titans are capable of. So because of that, it makes it to where, as more time continues, they might reach a point to where we're currently at in society. When you think about it, our day and age, our society right now, the reason why we have peace is because of certain events that happened in World War II. And what if, hypothetically, the country that is currently in charge of the mainland that owns the most power was to eventually create something very similar in that regard, of that destructive power, and use it on the people within the walls. That's the scary part about this, is that they don't have much time. It's either now or never, and as time continues, they're going to run out of time. Time is just not on their side. By the way, speaking of Titans and stuff, we got a name drop, or a title drop, within this episode. Shingeki no Kyojin. It is a name I think everybody recognizes. It's the Japanese title to the series, Attack on Titan. And it's interesting to finally find out that Eren's Titan is actually called Attack Titan, or Attacker Titan. Which is kind of interesting when you think that Eren's English name, like the English name to the story or whatever, is actually Attack on Titan, which kind of goes against the title. Like, okay, if we look at, Shingeki no Kyojin, it basically means, like, Attack Titan, Attacker Titan. But when you look at the English title, Attack on Titan, it doesn't make really much sense to the revelation within this episode. So, it's kind of where the localization of Attack on Titan kind of ruined the message, or the reveal within this episode. At least it ruined kind of like, oh man, that name, the title, has actually been Eren's Titan's name since the very beginning. And I mean, it's still there in a way, but not as how Shingeki no Kyojin is. So it's kind of sad, really, but how was, the localization team supposed to know that? I mean, let's be honest here. But, okay, another thing, too, to really talk about is that the name Attack Titan or Attacker Titan is something that also has been in our face since the very beginning. I mean, since the very beginning of the story, since Shingeki no Kyojin came out, it has been in our face. And I think it's kind of crazy that nobody really took a moment to realize what Aaron's Titan is necessarily called. Because when you think about it, all the other Titans have names. You have the Founding Titan, you have the Beast Titan, you have, Bert's Titan, which was the Colossal Titan, Reiner's Titan, which was the Armored Titan, you had Annie's Titan, which was the Female Titan, etc., etc. And so, we knew that Titans had names. They all had their names that they were called by. Just Aaron never really had a name. And it's kind of crazy that it's finally revealed after this long, we truly get the name of what his Titan is called. So yeah, I think that's about it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, how you felt about this week's episode of Attack on Titan. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Please be honest in the comments below. I am very curious. And with that, I love you guys. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below. And with that, Chibi out.